Hello and welcome to another edition of Currently in Quincy. I'm Joe Catalano, and today Ron Iacobucci from the MassHire South Shore Career Center here in Quincy will be joining us for an update on the local labor market. First, though, we take a look at the weather and the news for you. Currently in Quincy, 85 degrees with a mix of sun and clouds, kind of muggy as well. A very summer-like day today. Temperatures in the mid-80s this afternoon, feeling a bit like 90 in some locations. It'll be rather stuffy tonight, some patchy fog. There's a slight risk for a thunderstorm this evening. Lows drop off into the upper 60s, but that sets the stage for a gorgeous weekend. Tomorrow, sun and clouds, dry, warm with a high near 80. Same thing on Sunday, more sun than clouds on Sunday. Turning hot and humid again on Monday with some hazy sunshine. Highs Monday in the upper 80s. Looks like we could have another heat wave next week. Again, 85 and partly sunny in Quincy right now. Checking out the news for you today, the Quincy Retirement Board has voted unanimously to revoke the pension for convicted former Elder Services Director Tom Clasby. The board met in June, voted to revoke the pension except for what Clasby paid into it minus interest. Now, Clasby previously agreed to put whatever pension payments he does receive toward the $136,000 he was ordered to pay in restitution after pleading guilty to embezzling those funds from the city. He would have received almost $57,000 a year in pension payments. Now, Clasby will begin serving a 6-month prison term at the minimum security federal prison at Fort Devens in Ayer in August. He'll also serve 6 months of home confinement and a year of supervised release after his prison term. Now, construction on the new Squantum Elementary School here in Quincy will be kicking into high gear over the summertime. The latest construction update from the developer says that the underground plumbing is just about done, as are most of the major systems for the new building. And soon, the brick exterior masonry will begin and windows will be installed. The original 1919 portion of the building will be renovated with a new slate roof, and the Squanto medallion will be removed for restoration. The students will return to their modular classrooms behind this construction site this fall, but the new school is still on track for completion in September of 2027. The $109 million project is receiving $40 million in state reimbursements. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch says that the city's Heritage Tree program is chugging along. As part of the Quincy 400 celebration last year, the city launched an effort to plant 12 large heritage trees at key locations throughout the city, along with some signage explaining the historical significance of that site. Koch says the project is still underway this year.
We expect over the next week or so, the one at the corner of Furnace Brook and Merrimount Parkway will be finished. The one at West Street, doing a little bit more work there. The one at Center Street, it came out nice. We're going to do some finishing touches. We're going to tell the stories now with some of them, like Center Street. There'll be a monument to speak of the monument shacks that worked along Center Street and things like that. So we're chugging along. Good. Corner of Newbury Ave and Kendall Street, that came out beautiful. We haven't got the signage in yet. We're going to tell a little story of the Quincy School and the old firehouse and then the Marine Post at that corner. But they make a difference, I'll tell you. Some of these areas that, they're dense and they don't have a lot of greenery, so some of them really add to it, like Center Street, So good stuff.
That heritage tree at Center Street and Bergen Parkway is the location of the former Lincoln Monument Company that had become dilapidated. In addition to the heritage trees, more than 600 trees were planted citywide. Residents can still request a tree by contacting the Department of Natural Resources at 617-376-1299. Well, Quincy police are issuing a warning about the latest scam. Police say anybody receiving a notice about missing jury duty that is asking them that they use Bitcoin to pay a fine should just ignore it. Officials say the court system does not accept cryptocurrency for any payment. It would never threaten instant arrest warrants if you don't pay with cryptocurrency. Anybody receiving a call, a text, or an email requesting crypto payment for missing jury duty should ignore the call, don't pay anything, and report it to your local police departments. Quincy City Council recently honoring 4 Quincy Girl Scouts and the Quincy Girl Scout leaders for their dedication to the organization and to the community. Ward 3 City Councilor Walter Hubley said scouting has had a lasting impact on him personally.
Having been a scout myself as a kid and having served as a den leader for my son's den years ago, I really feel strongly, and I know how important scouting is to the community and what it does for young people in our community. It really warms my heart to see how active and engaged we have for a scouting program, and it's just beautiful. And in fact, some of the most impactful people in our city and the people I admire the most in the city got their start from what they learned in scouting. It's incredibly important, and it creates great leadership opportunities. Thank you.
Leaders Courtney Joyce, Cindy Trelcott, Donna Yang, Lisa Pacciola, Gail Jacobs, Jenny Torres, Gail Spring, Liz West, and Amanda Diaz were all honored, along with Girl Scouts Cora Wilson, Eloise Rakowski, Greta Tolentino, and Caroline Martinez for their project, which was called Recess Carts for Squantum School, which improved outdoor play opportunities for students during the Squantum School construction project. It's our check of news for you today. Coming up, Ron Iacobucci of the MassHire South Shore Career Center here in Quincy has an update for us. That's next. Welcome back. It's been a little while since we had Ron Iacobucci here from the MassHire South Shore Career Center in Quincy Center for an update. So here he is. Hey, Ron. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
That's
Thanks for coming over.
Good.
Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's a great,
my pleasure.
Kind of mid-year, I thought,
Sure.
good opportunity to talk about. There are some new labor numbers that have just been released by the state not too long ago. So I thought we could talk about the Career Center itself and then the labor pool in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the kind of the mission, the goal of the Career Center?
Well, it's to get people back to work.
Exactly.
Uniting job seekers as well as employers together. And we've got a great team there. They're very dedicated. They're very passionate about the work they do. And we invite people who are looking for work to come on down.
There are career centers like yours, right?
All over the Commonwealth. All over the country.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
okay.
They're called American Job Centers. In Massachusetts, we call it MassHire.
Okay.
That's how we're branded.
Okay.
There are 16 regions. We're one, and we cover from Quincy all the way down to Plymouth, 22 communities. We have a population, a working population of almost 500 million people in that region alone.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of people.
This is a state-funded?
Not federally funded. Department of Labor. Yeah,
okay.
Through two particular grants, Wagner Pizer and Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act.
Okay. And about how long have such centers been in existence?
They've been the centers. Everything's gone through transition. Yeah. It started back in the Roosevelt days with WPA.
Really? Oh, okay.
And CETA, you're probably familiar with that,
yes.
and JTPA, and now WIOA.
Okay.
And so there's always been some kind of a labor force program in place to help workers.
Okay.
And so we've kind of transitioned. It never used to be career centers, but they created those one-stop career centers where all the different state agencies can partner together to give kind of a holistic approach to helping people. Okay. So it's not just about a job, it's about housing, it's about daycare, it's about transportation, it's about a lot of things that make one successful in the workplace.
So who would utilize the Career Center? Who would benefit from it?
Most of the people that are required to come to the Career Center are those that receive unemployment insurance.
Okay.
So the first time you're getting that, you need to plug into a Career Center.
I see.
Got to go through an orientation, got to go through a review, make sure we give you a resume, and get you started on your work search. So that's mandated.
That's required.
If you don't do that,
Yeah.
you're not going to get your unemployment insurance.
Okay,
So,
all right.
But a lot of people struggle with unemployment, and I'm really happy to say that we have finally received in-person services from DUA, the Department of Unemployment
Yes.
Assistance, and it makes a big difference.
I would think,
We
yeah.
worked hard to get that legislation passed. Bruce Ayers was one of the sponsors, and Representative Ayers, and took a little while to implement, but we finally got it, and it's
Okay.
made a tremendous difference. So people can actually come into our Career Center now and get help navigating their unemployment insurance.
From a real person.
From a real person, yeah, as opposed to like trying to get on the phone
Right.
or maybe, God knows, dealing with navigating the website.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just,
yeah.
it's resulted in so many hardships with people going weeks and months without any support.
Benefits, yeah.
And so now we're willing to provide that. And so we're pleased that that's available.
That's
and
great.
people should come into the Career Center if they're struggling with their unemployment insurance. And
Now,
get some
that's
help.
kind of a product of the pandemic, right? Because there was in-person prior, was there not?
Oh, well, there used to be unemployment offices
Yes,
before, and that all changed
Right.
because someone had the brilliant idea that we're going to do this all online.
Yeah.
And online generated fraud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It generated all these hardships that I just described.
Yeah.
And so maybe we need to go back to what, the good old days
What
where
worked,
you used to
right?
have to physically come in every week and certify.
Yeah.
I would be an advocate for that because I think that brings people into the office on a regular basis.
Okay.
So they did away with all the unemployment offices, and basically everything went pretty much online.
At a time when
Yeah.
the unemployment rate soared to like 35%, right, during the pandemic. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the
it was
unemployment
artificial,
rate,
obviously. But
unemployment rate is down now a little bit, but that's basically as a result of the labor workforce participation rate has gone down.
Oh, I see.
So basically, if you're collecting unemployment
Yeah.
and you do that and you exhaust that, you're not counted as that number anymore.
Right.
But you're still not part of the workforce.
Okay.
And the labor workforce participation rate has gone down. There are less people now that are looking for
in the
work.
workforce?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's not a good thing. I mean, there's a lot of things that contribute to the success of a healthy workforce, and immigration is one of them. And we're having some issues now with the with the Haitian TPS workers.
The temporary protected status.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we again, a good immigration policy is what we need, and we don't have because it's the fuel that really runs the workforce system. And we're hurting with that right now.
So you're seeing
there are a lot
that
of other things that we're
translate.
hurting too, because there's a lot of uncertainty out there right
Right.
now. I mean, between the war in Iran, between the tariffs, between the midterms, AI is
Yes.
another factor.
Yes.
I mean, there's just, and again, the immigration thing that kind of weighs in. You have a very difficult situation, and we're doing the best we can. Obviously, if people come in and want to help, want help, we're there to help them and
Sure.
get back into the workforce.
So the people that have kind of fallen off the unemployment rolls, if you will,
Yep.
and are not working again, well, what are they doing?
That's a good question.
Okay, all right.
I mean, you look at even the impact that AI, I mentioned AI very
Yeah.
briefly. I mean, they're talking about roughly 350,000 jobs in the greater Boston area are going to be affected and vulnerable to AI.
Really?
So what's the impact of that going to be, and where do we go relative to our workforce? What are the new jobs that are going to be created? What are the jobs that we're losing?
Yeah.
What are the new jobs that we're creating? How are we training for that? How are we preparing for that? Those are the kinds of things that we're being challenged with right now and we're trying to deal with. But to answer your question, the workforce participation rate, I mean, they talk about universal income, and I don't know if that's something that's going to be on the horizon where we're paying people because they're not able to support themselves and they're not able to get back to work, but they need some sort of income, and is the government going to step in and provide that support? I don't know if that's something that's coming as a solution too, but it's a challenging time.
Yeah. So the unemployment rate statewide, I think, is about 4.5%.
Yeah, it's gone down,
little
but it's
lower.
gone down mainly because of more people aren't participating.
So they're not counted, basically. Yeah.
Correct.
But it is a little lower in our area here, isn't
Yes.
it, Norfolk County?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're holding our own.
Okay. In what areas are folks being hired, Ron?
Like if you want to look at Quincy, the biggest employers in Quincy, I'll tell you, are State Street, Ahold, Granite Telecommunications. We've got Santander Bank, Bella Insurance.
Okay.
Those are some of the bigger ones.
Banking, insurance.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the city workforce has morphed from blue collar, right, from its past
Doesn't
to
exist
more
anymore.
white collar now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So how does the Career Center help folks find jobs in those areas.
Well, because these employers post their jobs,
Okay.
and we're able to hopefully connect people that are appropriate with the right skill set, the right experience into those jobs. Or if they need training.
Yes.
That's another thing that we do.
Yes.
In fact, this year we're going to increase percentage-wise. We say we get 100% of our funds, we dedicate 30% of those funds into training
Wow.
for people. We're going to up that probably to 40%
Really?
this year,
Okay.
and invest more money in training so we can adjust to some of the changes that are going on in the workforce, and hopefully meet the needs of the employers and give them a good candidate
Yeah.
to fill the job.
Yeah.
So training is definitely makes a difference. We're trying to work very hard with our youth team. We're into almost every school in our SDA service delivery area, educating folks about not just the college possibility, but the alternative to the college.
Yes.
And we've been working very hard with South Shore Votech.
Yep.
And pushing CTI, training. I was at a graduation a couple of weeks ago. 100 people graduated from those classes, and they're all getting jobs.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
One of the things I'm proud of is the fact that we actually, first in the Commonwealth, had a cohort that allowed kids on the spectrum to go to South Shore Votech, and basically they all learned a trade,
Teach them a skill.
and they all get jobs.
Yeah.
Which is really something that we need to be doing more of.
Yes, yeah. Well, we've heard about the opportunities in the trades for
Yeah.
several years now, so
Yeah.
that still exists.
It's a career path,
Yeah.
and it's an incredible opportunity for people to make more money.
Yes.
As opposed to going to college, not necessarily, and getting your student loans and your debt and
Right.
all that.
Right.
I mean,
Right.
that's a real issue with folks. There's another path, and we're showing folks at the high school level what that path is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you seeing young people that have graduated college struggling to
Yes.
get in the workforce, really?
Yeah, I've never seen it like this
Right.
before.
Yeah.
You're in a 4-year college, you spend, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars on the education.
Depending, yeah.
And we have more people coming into our career center now, they don't have jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are they saying? what fields are they trying to get jobs in that they're having trouble with?
Not exactly sure. I mean, it's a variety. It runs the gamut, right? But basically, the bottom line is kids from college aren't getting jobs.
Yeah.
They're graduating and they're not getting jobs. And so we're working with that. Sometimes they have to take something less than what is most desirable that fits.
Just to start, right?
Just to get started,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So.
Okay, interesting. Is AI part of that, do you think? I mean, has it been able to
We're working
suss
with
that out
AI
yet?
too to try to improve how we function in the Career Center.
Yeah.
And we've partnered with IBM, first in the Commonwealth. We're doing this, and they're trying to look at exactly how we could better structure our time during the day to deal with the customers that are coming in.
Yeah.
And they're setting up a system for us. So I think you can see the benefits of AI
Okay.
in that regard, in terms of better resumes, better process, better job matching. So it's amazing what you could plug in and what comes out. So we're working those possibilities too to
Yeah.
see if we can take advantage of how we could better work with AI in our own career center
Right.
to help better serve our customers.
Okay. Any jobs in Quincy, Ron? Any jobs open?
Well, I don't know. Anything over here at the cable company? Yeah, if you had something, you'd post it with us,
Of
wouldn't you?
course,
Yeah, of
absolutely,
course.
yes. But I know you keep a close eye on the local city market, right? Labor market, job market.
Yeah, I mean, we serve 22 communities.
Right.
So we have to reach out. We've got a business service team that actually reaches out to employers. We're plugged into all the chambers in the region.
Yep.
So we're constantly connecting, and we're trying to understand where the demand is, because we want to train to the demand,
Right,
right?
yeah.
So basically, if we're collecting data out there from listening to the chambers, listening to the employers, we understand what's hot, what's where the jobs
Yes,
are,
yeah.
and we want to be directing people to those opportunities. And if training, like I said before, is involved, we're going to provide the training.
Okay, and how does that work? How does the training actually work?
Okay, so you've got to be eligible either as a dislocated worker or as or based on income.
Okay.
So the two different ways in which we kind of evaluate that. But a lot depends too on what your experience has been. If someone has the right skill set and the right experience, we're not going to spend money training
Start
them.
all
We're
over
going to
again,
find them
right?
a job. And
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So, but there are opportunities, I think, today more than before to try something new,
Yes.
try something different.
Yep.
And we can encourage that. So we have to go through a process of making sure they're eligible, because I've got to satisfy a lot of DOL regulations.
Department of Labor.
The Department of Labor
Okay,
regulations.
yep.
Otherwise, I get disallowed costs, and otherwise people aren't happy.
Sure.
So we got to make sure things fit and that they're eligible for the services.
Okay. Because are there any costs associated with using the Career Center programs and activities?
All of the services that we provide are at no cost.
Yeah.
I hate to say they're free, because sometimes that doesn't sound
Well,
good.
it devalues it, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, it does, a little bit, yeah.
Because technically they have paid for it, right?
They have paid for it.
Through
Your
the federal
tax dollars
taxes, right?
at work, yeah,
Right.
yeah. It pays for the operation of the center, pays for the outreach that we do, pays for the different teams that we have, whether it's the youth team, as I mentioned, the business service team, the employment counselors that are working in the Career Center.
Yeah, so take advantage of it.
Take advantage
is the message,
of it, yeah.
right?
I mean, for a long time, we've been like the best kept secret. And,
I
and
say
that's why
that all the
things like
time,
this
yeah.
really are important, because it does give us exposure. So, and I know you're going to be plugging certain things like our phone number and our
Yes,
website,
certainly,
and
yes.
encouraging people to move toward that. I mean, you call our number, we're going to give you a response and get you plugged in to the process.
Do you have to be unemployed or on unemployment to use the Career Center? No. I think that's a misconception too, I think.
Yeah. Well, the folks, as I mentioned earlier, that are unemployed have
They have to.
They have to.
Right,
They're
yeah.
mandated.
Right.
If they don't, they're going to lose their benefits.
Right, yeah.
But anybody can come in for help.
If you're
absolutely.
looking to change careers,
change jobs, or move up,
or move up,
whatever. Yeah,
you can
our
plug them
services
into
are available.
Some of the training programs. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do folks still write resumes, Ron? Is that still that's still a thing?
Yeah, it's getting better and better, because I mean, you have a situation now where you've got AI.
Yes.
And you could make stronger connections, I think, utilizing that intel.
Okay.
So,
I would
but
proofread
we
that,
have,
though.
but we do have on staff
Yeah.
counselors that are certified in resume writing.
Oh, all
so
right.
they've got the skill set that they can put something together for you.
Okay.
Anybody that comes in as an unemployed person has got to basically have a resume before they leave. They're going to go through an orientation, and we have to put a resume in place, because that's the tool you need in order to be able to
It's
get,
telling your story,
So
right?
no one leaves the Career Center without having a resume.
Good to know.
Yeah.
All right. But if somebody wants to update theirs, perhaps, is that another option?
Absolutely, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a resource area. People are free to come in. All they have to do is register on something called JobQuest, so they become a customer of ours.
Oh, all right.
And once they become that customer, then we could also, take, I don't want to say take credit, but at least we need to obviously satisfy certain goals that we have. How many people we serve, how many people got jobs, how many people got training. So we have to measure all of that.
Of course, yeah.
And
The federal government wants to know how you're using their money, right?
Exactly. That's right. That's right. So.
Do you have a job postings bulletin board?
Yeah, if you go on the
do? Okay.
website, you can get access to that information.
Okay, and if I see a job on that posting I'm interested in, will the Career Center help me through that process?
We can help you navigate that.
Okay.
You can come in and we could do some practice sessions with
Yeah.
interviewing.
Yeah.
We could, certain people are coming at these things from different directions. Some people they've stopped out of the workforce for a while because they're raising a kid.
Sure.
So how do you address that in a resume? Those kinds of things.
Okay.
We could be helpful
To make it-
in giving the people the right guidance so that they are presenting themselves in the best possible way.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. Do kids still get summer jobs, Ron? Is that still a thing?
Yeah, so
It is?
YouthWorks our money got cut, but we're still going to be able to provide a program. And in Quincy alone, there's over 100 kids that participate.
Oh, that's great.
It's all income driven.
Yeah.
But it gives them their first opportunity to have a job.
Yeah.
And to learn, the soft skills
Yes,
about
yes.
getting up on time, and, showing up, on time.
Interpersonal skills, right?
Yeah, all that. Yeah,
organizational
yeah.
skills, yeah.
It's because it's a short period of time.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference,
Yep.
and we're grateful to the employers that do participate in that, and they get free labor for the summer,
Yes.
to do something, and kids learn a lot, and a lot of the kids get hired back.
That's great.
They get hired back.
For an employer who's maybe watching, how do they connect with the Career Center if
Again,
they have
just
openings?
dialing that main number
Okay.
and plugging in. They'll be directed to a person that's in charge of business services.
Great.
And they'll be able to walk through the process
Yeah.
from there.
And I know you do work with the local colleges as well. I mean,
Yeah,
certainly you're not poo-pooing higher education by any means, right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, we work well with all the community colleges. In fact, we depend on the community colleges to come up with the training program. So
Yes.
if we see a demand and we need some training, the Quincy colleges the Quincy College, the other colleges, state colleges, are
Massasoit,
flexible enough
UMass,
to put something together on a timely basis,
Right.
so that we could take advantage
Meet that
of
direct need.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
really custom tailor the program for that individual.
Correct.
Or that cohort, if you will, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I know we'll have you back later in the year because there'll be job fairs coming up in the fall. I'm
Yeah,
guessing,
absolutely.
right?
We did a really successful one in Braintree a month or so ago with the mayor, and we had over 100 employers participating. We had over 300 people, job seekers, come.
Okay.
And it was at Braintree Town Hall, which is a real good venue
Central
for that.
location, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a great hall,
Yes.
so we could set up the tables and get people coming and going and so forth, and the parking. But it was a very successful event. A lot of people got connected to jobs.
That's great. So that must indicate to you that there is a strong demand out there.
There is.
Yeah. We've heard this low hire, low fire, atmosphere. Companies are not letting go, but they're really not adding either.
No, that's the problem. And I think that going back to what we said at the beginning, AI plays a role in that.
Yeah.
They're investing more in that than they are in a workforce. And so how it's all going to play out, how it's going to balance,
Still being worked out.
Yet to be seen, yeah.
We've been putting up your website, your phone number.
Good. MassHireSS.com.
Your email.
617-745-4000.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Or stop by, right? 1515 Hancock Street.
1515. We're there 8:30 to 4:30 every day, Monday through Friday.
All right. Good to see you, Ron. Thanks for the update.
Excellent.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You
Thanks,
are
Joe.
welcome.
Yep.
Rest of the forecast for today looks pretty nice, actually. It's very summer-like, a mix of sun and clouds, kind of muggy today with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, maybe some patchy fog, maybe a spot shower this evening, but that sets us up for a real nice weekend. Sunshine and clouds tomorrow, dry and warm, beautiful on Sunday, and turning hot again here on Monday. Thanks again to Ron Iacobucci for joining us from the MassHire South Shore Career Center. Thanks to our crew. Thank you for watching. Monday here in the program, we get details about this year's 88th annual Quincy Bay Race Week coming up next week. Meantime, check our website, qatv.org. You'll find all of our latest programs. There's news, there's information, video on demand, live streaming, and much more. For all of us here at QATV, I'm Joe Catalano. Have a great weekend.